If you've ever thought to yourself or said, I lost because of pressure, you're not wrong, but you're also not right. I'm Hemming Hu, a two-time Olympian in table tennis. As a coach, really had to learn how they, who don't know what I know, can get to their goals and what are all the missing pieces. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you 5 of the main key things that if you can learn and take away these, you're gonna be able to learn how to handle pressure and what's keeping you from getting to your goals. Point number 1, professionals in any field already have every technical skill in the book and they understand the principles behind it very deeply. They've mastered the game. For example, Simone Biles in gymnastics, Lionel Messi, Carlos Alcaraz. They have every skill set the sport or the discipline requires. For non-professionals, it's certainly not the case where you have every single skill set that you can just trust it when the pressure hits. For example, a tennis match where you want to hit a backhand down the line and you really know on a conscious level, you need to be able to hit that ball to beat this guy. But if you don't have the evidence and the experience in training of yourself missing and succeeding that shot, because you need to know what doesn't work, you need to know what does work and what it feels like to execute that shot. Well, guess what? When the pressure hits in a match and you're really like, man, I have to win this point, you're not going to use it because our subconscious brain is only going to use what we can trust in. Right? When you have trust in something enough, when it's all happening quick, you have to be able to use it as an automated habit when it comes. And you also have to be able to have the courage to use it because you trust, you actually see, oh my God, there's a 80 or 90 or 100% chance that this is going to work. If you have the shot in training, right? But as soon as circumstances change, the ball's faster, it's in a different spot, and there's nuances. If you only have a 50% trust in a certain shot, well, guess what? Of course you're not going to use it. If I compare a backhand strong one down the line versus a lob, and I have 50% trust in this, but I have 100% trust in this, even though I know this is probably going to lose me the point, under real pressure, I'm going to take my odds with this one. I've got a 100% success rate. They might miss a smash. Or in table tennis, they might miss against my push. Whereas if I go for this, 50-50 that I'll even make that shot, not good odds. I'm not going to go for it. So I have to keep building that, and I have to have a coach teach me how I can almost always make this ball so that under pressure, it's a no-brainer to use. Right? You look at Ma Long, it's a no-brainer for him to not be just staying there doing this all day with a push, right? Because he trusts this and he knows without a shred of doubt, this is going to yield much better benefits than this, and he's just as consistent with this as this. Really, pressure is not the reason you win or lose, not at all, but it simply reveals what you do trust and what you don't trust when it really hits the fan, which is point number 2. I said it before, but I can't stress this enough. What pressure really does, it just reveals what you do trust when things are really on the line and what you don't trust. A lot of the times in training, you'll feel like, oh my God, I have the freedom to hit everything. And that's great. You should experiment. You should see what is really a strength you can develop and work on the things that need to get better. But in matches, you suddenly feel like, oh my God, I've tightened up. Now I don't want to go for anything except these few things. And those few things are the ones that you have high enough faith in. Rather than just saying, here's how you play a forehand topspin in table tennis, you're not going to always play a forehand topspin like this. You're going to have to adjust this really depending on the kind of nuance that your opponent gives you. So really, you need to understand the principles behind why this is taught. In the context of table tennis, right, a lot of coaches and players will get taught that this is how you teach a beginner how to hit a forehand topspin. Not understanding the principle behind it is you want to grip the ball by using wrist only. Because they just get regurgitated and that, they then think that is how you play every shot. And then when the ball comes higher, when the ball comes slower, of course that no longer works. And then they mistakenly think, oh my God, I'm losing because of pressure. In a match, it all goes bad. When it's like, no, you didn't build that skill set well enough to where you were able to handle the nuances. And of course, against a certain opponent, against most opponents, under pressure, it's going to highlight that weakness that you never ever addressed or no one addressed for you. And you really didn't build it to be good enough. Yes, being able to be comfortable with the uncomfortable feeling of pressure was a big one, but it's only one piece in the puzzle of a 6-step process that you need to do to become match sharp, performance sharp in anything you do. I'm going to talk more about this 6-step process in the future videos, but essentially I want you to understand that in a puzzle of 6, being able to handle match pressure is only one piece of that puzzle. The other pieces, understanding principles behind techniques, being able to do something correctly at its base, right? So if you're doing drills where you know where the ball's coming, some professionals have said, oh, that's pointless because in a match you don't know where it's coming. Well, it's easy for them to say because they've already mastered every skill set in the book that they don't have to consider it. But if you're learning for a skill for the first time, you absolutely need to be first nailing that skill. Only when you nail that skill do you then add some uncertainty. Because then, for example, you want to learn how to backhand topspin correctly against backspin. You need to first do that shot to where you're undeniably so good. Then you add variation, to my middle or to my backhand. It's going to be short or to my backhand. Once you can do that successfully, when you don't know when it's coming, that is a huge motor skill that then you can start doing it when in some practice gameplay. I want to really touch on this one because I didn't in the video. Even a backspin push to your backhand, that can vary. That can vary in the amount of backspin that's on the ball. It can be a huge amount of backspin, empty, deep push. It can be a half long push. And truthfully, a lot of you guys move on when you're not ready. You think, oh, I've got a backhand topspin against backspin now, I've got the skill. And it's like, you can do it when your coach or whoever's giving you balls gives you average backspin that's not very easy to miss, nice speed, comes right to you, you don't have to move and adjust to it. But as soon as in a match, someone, especially with pinballs, that highlights it more, you get heavier backspin, and or you get a deeper push, and or you have to do it against a returner serve, not to mention a side spin serve, or someone pushes and it looks like backspin, but it's actually quite empty. You get the point. There's tons of variations that happen, even if you knew it's coming to your backhand long. Now, that alone is something that 99% of you think you've got down pat, but you truthfully do not, right? If we're being very transparent about it, it's a skill issue. Think about that, right? That is an issue itself. Not to mention when you don't know when the ball's going to come there. Not to mention when there's other variations coming in a real match, right? So you have to really go through this step by step, and you can't skip the steps. A lot of you simply skip the steps. You think you've got a skill nailed down when you truthfully have not. And that's why you experience all these inconsistent and unreliable results, purely because your skills have failed you. It's just masked by the fact that it's gameplay, you don't know where the ball's coming, and there's pressure. Now, a lot of people also think practice gameplay, training games, waste of time. It's really not if you know what you're doing, because you're doing something in a match-like situation without the immediate pressure threat of, oh my God, I need to win this next point. You have that freedom to experiment. So if you have all that experience of missing, figuring out why it's not working, figuring out why it is working, well then in matches, you're going to be way more prepared, you're going to be way more likely to bring things out under pressure than if you didn't do all that. Training and matches are so different and people fail to understand this. Training and matches are very different, but they're also connected. I've talked about why they're connected, because in training is where you want to build your arsenal, where you're undeniably so good that you just trust every shot, you're confident with every shot. A lot of people think confidence is this thing that most people have. Some people don't have it, some people do, some people are naturals. When one, that's not true. Two, it's also domain specific. I am very not confident in the kitchen, but when it comes to dynamic sports like tennis, table tennis, 1v1 sports, challenge, I want to beat you, you want to beat me, I'm very confident. As a speaker, I'm very confident because I've worked on these things. So it's very domain specific. Now, training is that avenue to build confidence in your skill sets, right? You want to build a skill set where you know it and then you're able to do it when you have to use it at will. In matches, a lot of you guys make the mistake of you play a match, you win a point a certain way and you feel, oh, that was technically wrong. Then you beat yourself up about it and you go, oh, but that was so ugly. Who cares? You won the point, right? Training is just a tool to have more things so that you come to the match equipped to be able to win, right? So use what you have in training when you come to matches, just win. Just beat the other guy on the other side of the net. That's all that matters. Don't get fancy about how you win. Don't get fancy about how it feels or how you think it should look or how it should be done. Just find a way to win. When you get to 3 sets or 4 sets first in table tennis, you've done the job. If it's something that needs work and you feel my skill sets are not good enough, leave that to training. When you go into matches, just have the mindset. Who is the other guy? What are the skill sets that I trust? What am I going to use to win? And execute. I can't stress that enough because it sounds so simple, but it is simple, but it's not easy. And a lot of you guys don't do this. So please, when you go into training, Try and aim for perfection. Literally try and aim for perfection until you can't get any better at that skill set. In matches, it's not going to feel great. It's not going to be perfect. So be it. Win with what you have. All right, talking about matches, right? Number 5 point, and a really, really common mistake all of us have made, and you probably still make today. You stop doing what works. Something business people are very aware of. Stop doing the thing that is working. That's going to cost you a lot of money if you do that, right? Stop adding things just for the sake of it. Same in sport matches. You find a winning tactic against an opponent, unless they're professionals that know every skill set in the book. Imagine you don't know how to backhand topspin against backspin, and someone has a winning tactic against you in a match, and then they stop doing that. They've just let you off the hook, because they should essentially keep using that ball against you and just very repeatedly, very boringly, just keep using that same tactic until the very end to win the match. Because that skill set, think about it, it takes months, maybe years to actually develop. What it takes, being aware of that issue, often a coach to tell them what they're doing wrong in that specific shot or skill set, and then it takes actually going through the process of working on it to the point where they can do it as an automated subconscious habit. That takes a very long time. Now, if you find a winning tactic against someone, think about that. Remember that it takes a long time for them to fix that issue. They're not within the matter of a match. They're not going to suddenly get used to it. Because I understand the need to change. One, you're like, okay, I don't know if this tactic is going to work forever. 2, isn't it going to get old? Is it going to get boring? Win boring. Also, no, a tactic is going to work until the very end, unless you're playing professionals. That's it. If you're not playing professionals, that tactic is going to work until the very end, because they're not going to be able to figure that out. How to actually, even if they know the tactic you're using, they're not going to be able to overcome it within the span of a 30-minute match or even a 10-hour match, right? They need way more than that to be able to really develop the skill set. So I can't stress this one enough, really. When you find a working tactic in anything, write it and write it hard. So hey guys, if you enjoyed those 5 points, found them helpful, and you're really ready to go out there and kill them, I'm super thankful you watched till the very end. If you would like one-on-one personal help, whether it's with your table tennis specific game, whether it's coaching you with your mindset and how to get better in any other field, send me an email at athlete.insights.hemming@gmail.com. And let's have a quick chat to see if you qualify for what I offer, and if really I'm able to help you in the first place. As well, if you know someone who would really benefit from this kind of help, email me, and yeah, let's get in touch. Stay tuned for future videos. I'm really excited to put out more and more videos like this, where I really give you guys my 23 years of full-time athlete knowledge and every lesson learned along the way.